Paid Parental Leave, a presentation by APRN doctorate students at Frontier Nursing University. Opinions expressed in this presentation are solely those of the authors and do not necessarily reflect the views or opinions of Frontier Nursing University. The United States is the only developed country that doesn't guarantee paid leave for workers who are new parents. Canada, France, and the Netherlands all offer over 15 weeks, and the UK offers 40 weeks. However, in the United States, the Federal Family and Medical Leave Act gives workers the right to 12 weeks of unpaid leave and only if the company meets certain conditions. The Medical Leave Act, or FMLA, was enacted in 1993 to grant up to 12 weeks of unpaid job-protected leave to eligible employees who need to care for their children or other family. Unfortunately, there hasn't been much federal legislation designated to supporting working families since. The consequences are shocking. Only 12% of workers have access to paid family leave through their employers. Less than half of all workers are covered by unpaid leave. 25% of women either quit or are let go when they have a baby. A third of these people borrow money and or dip into their savings while on maternity leave. 15% go on public assistance. While many may think paid parental leave is only an additional cost, there are several ways that it ultimately leads to increased economic and social benefits. 3 states, California, New Jersey, and Rhode Island, offer guaranteed paid leave. The programs are funded by the employee's payroll deductions and cost the individual employees less than $1 per week. In a survey of California business owners, 89 to 99% said that the program has had a positive or no negative effect on their profitability and performance. 78% of millennials are part of a dual career couple. U.S. millennials would move to another country if they had paid parental leave benefits. Training a new employee has been estimated to be 21% of the employee's annual salary and even higher for more skilled labor. 86% of millennials are less likely to quit if they had paid parental leave being offered to them. Studies reveal that in European countries where paid parental leave is offered, there is an increased labor force participation from women and a decrease in unemployment. This leads to a boost in overall productivity. Paid parental leave can have outstanding effects on national economy. It can lower unemployment rates and make more capital available to put back into the economy. It reduces reliance on public assistance. Women who return to work after taking paid leave are 40% less likely to receive public assistance in the year after giving birth than women who keep working or have no leave at all. There is a wide wage gap between men and women in the same jobs. Part of this is related to the time that women spent out of the workforce unpaid to have children. With paid leave, women are able to raise their earnings and help close the pay gap. Workers are more likely to maintain their pre-leave wage level if they stay with the same employer than if they must find a new job. They can raise their long-term earnings and contribute to the health of the economy. Maternity leave has many health effects for both the mother and the baby. 6 months is the optimal maternity leave to reduce postpartum depression. The cost per year of a mother with untreated postpartum depression is $7,200 due to loss of productivity. And the estimated total loss per year for postpartum depression is $5.7 billion just in the United States alone. Infants who have mothers that had a paid maternity leave have a slight increase in birth weight and lower incidence of preterm birth. Preterm births result in a loss of up to $26 billion a year in the United States. Every month of paid maternity leave can reduce infant mortality rates by up to 13% in low to middle income families. Longer periods of bonding can prevent behavioral and developmental delays, and children that attend daycare are more prone to illnesses. The average cost of childcare per year for just one child is $10,468. The American Association of Pediatrics recommends breastfeeding for the first 12 months of life. The World Health Organization recommends breastfeeding until 2 years of age or beyond. In the United States, 51% of infants were breastfed at 6 months. Full-time working mothers who received 12 weeks of paid maternity leave were 3 times more likely to breastfeed their babies and twice as likely to still be breastfeeding at 6 months than those who do not receive paid maternity leave. If 90% of infants in the United States were breastfed for 6 months, it would save $13 billion a year, and over $5 million of those dollars will be saved in expenses related to childhood illnesses alone. Paid maternity leave has showed to decrease infant and childhood mortality by 20%. You may be asking yourself, what does this exactly mean? It means that many lives are saved with paid maternity leave. If this has not just convinced you that paid maternity leave matters, then I would invite you to listen to this story about Julie. Julie is a 31-year-old woman that worked as a secretary prior to having her baby. However, she could not financially afford to take a 12-week maternity leave with no pay. Julie had to return to work just 4 weeks after giving birth. She experienced stress and maternal anxiety and eventually had to stop breastfeeding. She became depressed and eventually lost her job and had to go on to public assistance for a short period of time. Julie made it through her depression and got another job, but her pay was less. This happens more often than people think. Julie's story could have been very different if she had had a paid maternity leave. She could have continued to breastfeed, had better pay, and increased her earnings long term. She could have decreased her health costs and would not have had to go on public assistance. In the long run, her employer would have also benefited more because they would have not lost money retraining a new employee. The answer is clear, and that is that paid maternity leave matters not only to the person receiving it, but also it affects the employer, families, and the economy in very positive ways. The time is long overdue for the United States to have paid maternity leave. It is time to take action and vote for paid maternity leave for all the states in the U.S. Access for everyone for paid maternity leave will have a positive impact on the economy and help with better health outcomes for infants and families. Paid maternity leave is the answer, and it will impact your children and future generations to come. The choice is yours to make.